All right. Hello, everyone. Hey, this is another art project about creative thinking, and this one is called Superheroes. So, some of the standards we're going to be hitting on this. Of course, the big standard is creating. And for creating, we are going to engage in imaginative play through looking, reading, drawing, writing, listening, and speaking, and then express a fantasy story character from a specific time and place. And then the second standard that we're going to hit with this art project is on connecting. Compare and contrast fantasy story characters from different times and places through looking, reading, listening, drawing, writing, and speaking. And I want you guys to notice in this activity how different people who live in different cultures in different places of the world, um, sometimes they can have, like, for example, the people who lived in the Western culture saw dragons completely different from the people who lived in the Eastern culture hundreds of years ago. So we're going to be sure to look at the differences between a character, which is basically the same creature, but how he's viewed differently from different cultures. Okay, our objectives on this art project are: one, view and discuss superhero art from different times and places; two, consider the message of superhero art; and three, compare how artists across time and place have expressed their dreams through art. Inference. When we read a story, the writer doesn't tell us everything. Sometimes the writer drops hints for the reader to figure out. Artists drop hints in the details that we can see. We can make inferences when we look at art. Superheroes. Fantastic characters from myths and legends. Superheroes are characters that have superhuman powers. Superheroes do good works. Some images of superheroes include details to tell about their special talents. Myth, a well-known story which was made up in the past to explain natural events. And here's a picture of Thor, who was thought to be responsible for the thunder. Legend, a very old and popular story that may be true. And here's a painting of Mulan. Fantasy, something one dreams about, a pleasant situation that is unlikely to happen in real life. Artists around the world and throughout history have used their imaginations. The legend of St. George slaying a dragon to save a young girl has inspired many artists. The story was first told during medieval times. Hundreds of years later, during the Renaissance, Raphael created his own version of the St. George story. So here's the painting by Raphael, and this was painted in 1506. Look at the painting by Raphael. Describe the dragon. What features did Raphael give this imaginary beast? So look closely at the different body parts that you see in the dragon and make a comparison between that body part and maybe an animal that you're familiar with from real life. Dragons can also be good luck. So in the Eastern cultures, the people who lived in Eastern cultures viewed dragons differently from the people who lived in the Western cultures. An artist, Skender Bogossian, found inspiration in traditional African literature. What real bird forms do you think this artist might have been thinking about? Does this painting look like a fantasy? Does it look like a dream? Name the different colors, shapes, and textures you can see. Do you see an owl taking flight? The figure at the top may look like a cat. The figure at the top may look like an owl or a cat because of the shape of the face, the big eyes, the large pointed ears, and the upright posture. What kind of creature do you see in the middle on the left side? This creature appears to have wings that are flapping fast like a hummingbird. Does this look like a hero from a myth? There's a little bit bigger picture so you can see the details a little bit better. Compare picture A to picture B. What clues tell you that these two artists are from different times and different places? So on the left, we have Raphael's St. George and the Dragon, and on the right, we have Bogassian's Night Flight. And Night Flight was painted in 1964. So it's about 460 years newer than Raphael's St. George. Okay, how are they the same? Let's look at, they both have. How are they the same? They both have fantasy creatures, neutral colors, and visual rhythm. Okay, now let's look at how they are different. St. George and the Dragon has a dragon, deep space, realistic setting, daytime, land, hills, and trees. Okay, now let's look at how Bogassian's Night Flight is different from Raphael's St. George. Night Flight has bird forms, woven layers, a dreamlike setting, a nighttime sky, planets, and stars. Many comic strips feature superheroes. Some cartoonists write their own stories. Others collaborate with writers. They work together with the writer. Cartooning is one way for an artist to earn a living. We can infer that these characters are heroes. The characters stand in a way that shows they are proud. They wear colorful uniforms. Some of them wear capes and masks. What other details can you see in their costumes? Super sketches. Think about your superpowers. Write a list. What can you do well? What do you enjoy? How can you use your superpowers for good? You can make an impact. What will you do? Design a symbol. Think about symbols that are usually in the middle of costumes. Think about your superpower. What could you draw to show or to infer your superpower? Something that you're good at. Design a mask. How much of your face will it cover? What facial features will it hide? Some masks only cover the eyes, like very fancy glasses. Draw your superhero costume. Decide on 2 or 3 colors for your superhero costume. The colors should relate to your superpowers. Show your superhero solving a problem. Draw an action pose. Draw a setting. Aesthetic awareness. Today, we looked at fantasy characters and noticed their resemblance to real animals. Look carefully at story characters. Notice what is real and what is imaginary. What qualities do you think the characters represent? Okay, here's our artists from today. You can pause the video and read about these two. All right, I look forward to seeing your superhero drawings. And remember that you can post those to Flipgrid. You can make a little video and leave it for everyone there. All right, have fun with your superhero drawing.